Well, that was interesting. I've just had communion, but not in a fashion I've ever had it before. You might be familiar with the little sealed cups that you get when you are maybe travelling and they've got cream or milk inside them to put into your tea or coffee. You get them on the trains, and they're little plastic sealed cups. Well, our communion wine came in little plastic concealed cups, presumably because of the pandemic, and you don't want people sharing glasses or having to wash up little glasses that other people have handled. So they came in these little plastic sealed cups, and we didn't have any bread. I've never seen that before, and I believe that that's been produced because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, will that be a unique experience, or is that the way it's going to be from now on in some churches? Little plastic sealed cups. We wait to see. I think this tree behind me is very attractive, so just have a good look at it. Let's drink in the last of the summer fruits. I'm wearing summer fruits, of course. But the tree is very attractive in the sunshine. So let's remember the summer and look forward to the next one. And let's look forward to God's goodness to us, whatever it may be, in the weeks to come, and whatever He may bring. May He be merciful to us. May we trust in Him all the more. And if you've not trusted Christ, will you do it now? I seem to have a liking for Tudor buildings, or ones that look Tudor. Now look at this house behind me. This has got the sort of look that I find very interesting, so it must be some sort of very old, historic building. I wonder what sort of businesses have been in it in the past, and who's lived in here over perhaps centuries. If only it could talk, what tale would it tell of tales? A good look at it. Well, we can see from the plaque behind me, this was actually built in the 17th century. 17th century, originally thatched timber frame building, revealed in 2003 during renovations. So it was once thatched. So it is indeed hundreds of years old. And here's another one, 17th century, originally thatched Roman numerical carpenters. Marks allowed prefabrication of oak timbers where trees were felled, listed grade 2 in 2003. And again, have a look at the building. Interesting, isn't it? Now, if you're ever in Fortune and you need to make a phone call and you don't have a mobile, this is the place to be. In a phone box, like we used to be when I was a boy. However, you can get more than that in this phone box. I've just tested the phone. Yes, it works. However, outside and on the other side of this box, we can see that the box also sells stamps. Oh no, tell a lie. Oh yes, it does. Postage out of order, but you can post your mail in this box. So it does the mail, and it also still does telephone calls. And once again, this old building, it's called the Old Manor House apparently. Just have a look at it as I pass by very, very slowly. It looks attractive. It stands out from the rest of the buildings. Here's another interesting piece of architecture. Built as a chapel of ease in 1870s by Reverend Charles Cotton, Used as parish church during the restoration of St Lawrence's, Overton, 1880 to 1882, the iron church was very popular and is now an evangelical chapel, 2004. So this building is made of iron, and this is a community church, or they've called it an evangelical church. Though mind you, evangelical means off the gospel, so I am off the gospel. I'm evangelical. But anyway, just an interesting building made of iron. We usually think of bridges as being made of iron, but not necessarily buildings. But you can see that is made of iron. I have just bought petrol. This country is undergoing some change just now. For some time, petrol stations have been stocking E10. And last week on the BBC we were told that the petrol stations are rolling this E10 out because it's better for the environment. It's got more vegetable fat in it and produces less intoxicating gases. But it's not suitable for some older cars. That slightly alarmed me as someone who drives an older car. However, the BBC said that it was chiefly cars from 2020. So before 2020 rather, it would have difficulty with it, and I've checked mine is okay. But again, it seems to me the environmental lobby has become very powerful. But I liken this aspect of it to being like the Clean Air Act of the 1950s. We used to have smog, and people coughed like hags in the smog. We rarely have smog now because we moved over to the Clean Air Act, whereby they reduced the amount of, well, again, muck that you could put out into the air. And so the air is purer now than it used to be, but some people would argue that in some places in the country at least, it's not pure enough. So I sort of liken this to being something like the Clean Air Act. And we are where we are. Fortunately, as I say, my car can take the new fuel, as do the majority. But what if you're driving one of these historic vehicles, for instance? I can think of someone right now who's got a couple of cars that are way before 2020. Sorry, way before 2001, so it's past 20 years. I meant ever since the millennium. Cars built up to the millennium probably can't use it. Cars after that can, chiefly. And as I say, historic vehicles, that's going to have difficulty. I wonder how they cope with that.